You two didn't exercise in the literal sense, did you? Tang Zi hadn't even finished her sentence when I cut her off, as if I already knew what Tang Zi was going to say, and the image in Tang Zi's mind immediately vanished. She pointed at me and looked at Shen Mengyao, asking, "Don't tell me you let him guide your workout?" His training intensity. I only worked out with him once, and I was sore for 3 days straight afterward. My intensity is far less than his. Shen Mengyao replied with some embarrassment. At the same time, she was also feeling incredibly surprised by what Tang Zi just said. Although Tang Zi said she was also sore for 3 days, she had actually worked out with me. With that level of intensity, she was able to endure it. If it were her, she'd probably have to call an ambulance. Tang Zi shook her head helplessly and said, "If you want to work out, I can guide you. It's definitely more effective than Gucci's guidance. He has no idea how girls work out. Hey, it's one thing to say you're good. Why did you have to turn around and diss me?" I gave her a glare, then walked into the classroom a step ahead. But when I entered the classroom, several pairs of eyes immediately stared at me. I didn't pay any attention to those gazes. I put Shen Mengyao's backpack at her seat, then went back to my own. Among the gazes on me, the most hostile one was from Lu Bo. He saw me walk in with Shen Mengyao's backpack and his heart tightened. Then he saw Shen Mengyao and Tang Zi still talking about something. A moment later, Lu Ying entered the classroom. The first thing she did was look towards where Shen Mengyao was sitting. Yesterday, she had thought about it and felt she should apologize to Shen Mengyao. Shen Mengyao was the class president. After all, she would surely think about class unity. For me to ask her to do that was really a bit too much. She still cherished this good friend, Shen Mengyao, a friendship of over a year. She had long considered the other person her only best friend. Liu Ying walked straight to Shen Mengyao's side and reached out to gently pat Shen Mengyao's arm. "Hey Mengyao, good morning." Hiss. Shen Mengyao's eyes widened. She sucked in a sharp breath of cold air, then turned her head, frowning and glaring angrily at Liu Ying. Liu Ying was immediately stunned. She thought she and Shen Mengyao only had a small conflict, but her reaction seemed to be much angrier than she had imagined. "I just patted her once? Why is it like I've made her furious? Is that look supposed to mean she wants to eat me alive?" "Mengyao. Are you still mad at me?" Liu Ying saw Shen Mengyao's expression, and she was actually a little scared. After all, she had known Shen Mengyao for so long, and it was the first time she had seen her like this. Shen Mengyao lowered her head and was silent for a long time. Then she slowly spoke. Liu Ying, from now on, we're just classmates." Hearing this, Liu Ying's mouth dropped open, and she couldn't close it. She didn't expect things to be this serious. Shen Mengyao is the class president. Does she care that much about class unity? She just said a few bad things about Tang Zi, and then a few things about wanting to frame Gucci, and Shen Mengyao already wants to cut ties with her. It's not that serious, is it? I was just talking. I haven't actually done anything. You're not even giving me a chance to admit my mistake and change? That's not it, Mengyao. I know I said the wrong thing yesterday. I swear I won't say things like that again. And I won't do anything either. Can you not be like this? Don't we have a great relationship? Liu Ying's tone softened considerably. She really didn't want to lose Shen Mengyao as a friend. Their relationship was so good before, they talked about everything. But why is it that since Shen Mengyao was absent for over 10 days, she seems to have become a different person? Now she even wants to cut ties with her. She had never thought of these things. Hearing these words from Liu Ying, Shen Mengyao could also sense her conciliatory attitude. For a moment, Shen Mengyao even softened, but she still couldn't forgive Liu Ying's words from yesterday, so she didn't answer anymore. Choosing to lower her head in silence, Liu Ying saw that she was ignoring her and became a little anxious. She hurriedly reached out and grabbed Shen Mengyao's shoulder and said hastily, "It's true, Mengyao. Believe me." Hiss. Being grabbed, Shen Mengyao again sucked in a cold breath. The look she gave Liu Ying was especially terrifying. Liu Ying was so scared that she immediately retracted her hand. Hey, at that moment, Lu Bu, who had been secretly watching, took action. He saw that Liu Ying seemed to be in conflict with Shen Mengyao, and was even getting physical with her. He knew this was a good opportunity for him to step in, so he immediately shouted to stop Liu Ying's behavior, stood up and walked over. "Liu Ying, if you want to talk, just talk. Why are you getting physical? Can't you see Shen Mengyao is very uncomfortable?" Lu Bu stood in front of Shen Mengyao with the air of a hero saving a damsel in distress. He felt that he must look incredibly handsome right now. His image in Shen Mengyao's heart must be soaring to the sky. The reason he spoke so loudly was because he wanted the whole class to look over and witness the moment he protected her. Then, rumors would surely spread in class, rumors about him and Shen Mengyao. They might even start shipping them as a couple. Then, getting together would be a natural progression. This action by Lu Bu directly caused both Shen Mengyao and Liu Ying to be stunned. Even the whole class was stunned. Liang Jiaxiang even covered his face with both hands. He felt that watching something this cringy could possibly give him a rash all over his body. As for me and Tang Zi, we sat in our seats watching this drama, with dazed expressions. Tang Zi lowered her voice and whispered in my ear, "What's the situation? I don't know, probably filming an idol drama. Should we help Shen Mengyao? She can probably handle it. No need for now." Lu Bu turned his head to look at Shen Mengyao and found that Shen Mengyao seemed to be rummaging for something in her backpack. Lu Bu was extremely anxious inside. He thought, "Sis, what are you looking for at a time like this? Look at me. Was it easy for me to say those words in front of the whole class? You're not moved." That, Lu Bu. At that moment, Shen Mengyao's voice rang out. Hearing this, Lubo immediately turned to look at Shen Mengyao. What is it? Lubo smiled, but when he saw the thing in Shen Mengyao's hand, his smile froze, because in her hand, she seemed to be holding the gift he had given her yesterday. Shen Mengyao endured the pain and slowly stood up. Then she handed the gift in her hand to Lubo. Under the attention of the entire class, Shen Mengyao coldly and slowly spoke. Her voice was neither loud nor soft. Lubo, this is the gift you gave me yesterday. I'm returning it to you now. Also, please don't give me any more gifts in the future. I don't like you. Seeing this, the whole class immediately broke into an uproar. Most people had their mouths wide open and their eyes bulging. They didn't expect that so early in the morning they could watch such a performance. After Shen Mengyao finished speaking, she instinctively glanced in Mai and Tang Zi's direction. Tang Zi quietly gave her a thumbs up with an admiring look on her face. At this moment, Lubo was stunned on the spot, motionless, his face pale, as if telling others that he was dead. Liu Ying also looked full of disbelief. She didn't expect Shen Mengyao could say such words at a time like this, especially Liu Ying. She realized that Shen Mengyao seemed to have truly changed. She was completely different from before, which made her feel a bit unfamiliar. Seeing this scene, Liang Jiaxiang hurriedly stood up and pulled Lubo back. Although Shen Mengyao's behavior was also something he didn't expect. But generally, Lubo brought this upon himself. Yesterday he followed her home. I tried to stop him then, but he wouldn't listen. Now that these things have happened, he has to accept it. Shen Mengyao sat down, opened her book, no longer paying attention to others' gazes. She had already done what I needed to do. She didn't care about the rest anymore, didn't want to pay attention in class. The minds of many people were not on the lecture. Liu Ying occasionally stole glances at Shen Mengyao. Her heart was filled with countless questions, and also a lot of worries. What she worried about most was the relationship between me and Shen Mengyao. What should I do now? As for Lubo, needless to say, he stared blankly at his desk the entire session. Who knows what was on his mind? After class, Shen Mengyao wanted to go to the restroom, but her body was really having some difficulty moving. After sitting down, she wanted to stand up. It was incredibly difficult. It felt like she should have a pair of crutches right now, but at this moment, Liu Ying once again walked up to Shen Mengyao. Mengyao, can we talk? I think we must still have some misunderstandings. At this moment, Shen Mengyao was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Right now, she didn't care about misunderstandings or not. Right now, she wanted to go to the restroom. The girls' restroom wasn't close to the classroom. A round trip would take 3 minutes, not to mention her current condition. Mengyao, don't ignore me. Tell me, what are you still mad at me about? How could Shen Mengyao possibly tell the truth? Besides, she didn't want to talk right now. Just at this moment, a hand suddenly appeared in front of her. Liu Ying turned her head to look, immediately showing a look of disbelief. Tang Zi? Shen Mengyao also saw Tang Zi beside her. Tang Zi raised her eyebrows slightly at her. Although she didn't say a word, Shen Mengyao immediately understood. The corners of her mouth turned up. She quickly placed her hand on Tang Zi's. Then Tang Zi pulled her up, helping her leave right in front of Liu Ying. Liu Ying's eyes followed them the whole time until they were out of sight. Tian Ruan walked over to Liu Ying and asked, "What's the situation? I just saw Shen Mengyao and Tang Zi leave together. Since when did they get so close?" "I don't know." Liu Ying shook her head blankly, her heart in turmoil. In that moment, she thought of many things. Carefully recalling Shen Mengyao's recent expression, the moment she saw Tang Zi, it was like how she used to look at me. Her heart felt like a part of it was empty. Suddenly, she seemed to understand everything. Why Shen Mengyao had suddenly changed. Why she was mad at me and cut ties with me. This must have something to do with Tang Zi. It must be Tang Zi who instigated it. 2 years of friendship. During that time, we almost never argued because Shen Mengyao is a very kind and gentle person. Even when I made a mistake, Shen Mengyao never held it against me and never blamed me. But now, all of this has changed. The most suspicious person is Shen Mengyao. Next to her, Tang Zi appeared. So Tang Zi is definitely the culprit who changed all of this? Liu Ying clenched her fists. Her expression was as cold as ice. Tang Zi, you stole Gucci from my side. Now you want to steal Mengyao too? After school, Lubo stood in front of the sink in the men's restroom. His expression was terrible. Immediately after, he picked up the gift, a music box, and smashed it to pieces. Staring at the shards on the floor, he suddenly remembered this gift. It was Tang Zi who helped them bring it in back then. Lunchtime, Shen Mengyao held her lunchbox and came over to me and Tang Zi, sitting at the desk in front of Tang Zi's, sharing a table with her. Now she no longer cared what others thought. If Tang Zi had said they could hang out together from now on, then Shen Mengyao would openly come to find Tang Zi. By the way, she could also be a little closer to me, because I never said that at school. We could hang out together, so Shen Mengyao was worried about bothering me, causing trouble, so she didn't talk to me openly. Otherwise, with her current carefree personality, she would have long since treated me like she does at home. Tang Zi saw Shen Mengyao eating with her and whispered, "You really dare to get close to me? I already warned you, my reputation is terrible. There might even be a few people who hold a grudge against me. If you get dragged into it then, don't blame me." Hearing this, Shen Mengyao smirked. She giggled. "It's okay. When that time comes, you'll stand firm and stand by your side to support you." Tang Zi was a little stunned. Then she lowered her head in silence without saying a word. Shen Mengyao was a bit puzzled. She didn't know what was wrong with Tang Zi. Could it be that she said something wrong? I stared at Tang Zi with a calm expression, seemingly having seen through Tang Zi's thoughts. After a moment, I slowly let out a breath and said softly, "That's good, isn't it?" This time, Auntie can also rest assured. Tang Zi raised her head to look at me, mumbling, "Brother, you're just randomly guessing what's on my mind. I'm not happy about it. Does this even need guessing? You're already calling me brother now? Is your mood still hard to guess?" Shen Mengyao listened to the two of them talk. It was like listening to something in a fog, as if it was encrypted. She didn't understand anything at all, but she also knew this was probably their chemistry. When could she have such chemistry with us? The three of us ate and talked together, attracting the gazes of many people, but most people were just watching for fun. Only one pair of eyes was always staring at us. In that gaze was resentment, anger, and unwillingness. This person was Liu Ying. At this moment, when she looked at Tang Zi, it was as if she had a blood feud with her. In her heart, she had determined that Tang Zi was the one who ruined the friendship between her and Shen Mengyao, although she couldn't figure out what reason Tang Zi had for doing so, but she firmly believed that Tang Zi was definitely not a good person. "Alright, Liu Ying, stop looking. They're not paying attention to you. You shouldn't pay attention to them either. Don't you still have me to hang out with?" Tian Ruan reached out her hand and gently turned Liu Ying's face to make her look towards me. Regarding the matter of Shen Mengyao abandoning them, Tian Ruan actually didn't have a big reaction. Previously, she and Shen Mengyao just had a normal friendship, without any deep feelings. It was just that Liu Ying was in the middle, so the two of them hung out together. Now that Shen Mengyao no longer hung out with her, she felt it didn't make much difference. Liu Ying shook her head and said, "No, Mengyao is just bewitched. I have to save her. Tang Zi, she definitely has some kind of scheme. She'll harm Mengyao then? Is that for real? The class president is so smart and she can be bewitched? So could it be that she has some weakness being held against her? That's right. That's it. You're right. Mengyao must have had some weakness discovered by Tang Zi, who was using it to threaten her." In Liu Ying's mind, she had already imagined the scene of Tang Zi threatening Shen Mengyao, although she still didn't know what purpose Tang Zi had for doing so, but she felt that Tang Zi was the type of person who would do such things. At this moment, Liu Ying heard someone call her. The sound was very quiet. She raised her head and looked towards the source of the sound and discovered it was Lu Bo standing at the classroom door calling her. After seeing Lu Bo, Liu Ying couldn't help but frown. She recalled what happened in the morning. Lu Bo, in order to defend Shen Mengyao, showed me no consideration at all. To this day, she still hasn't received an apology. I had no intention of doing anything to Shen Mengyao in the first place, but Lu Bo doing that was like he was standing on some moral high ground, criticizing me without distinguishing right from wrong. It's very annoying. "Hey, come out here for a bit. I have something to tell you." Lu Bo didn't seem to notice Liu Ying's unpleasant expression. He kept waving and calling. He didn't even dare to step into the classroom, afraid of being seen by Shen Mengyao and Tang Zi. Liu Ying sighed helplessly, thinking to herself that Lu Bo was probably looking for her to apologize, so she stood up and slowly walked out of the classroom. But she still maintained a cold expression. Before Lu Bo apologized, she wouldn't show him a pleasant face. When Liu Ying came out of the classroom, Lu Bo immediately reached out to grab her hand, wanting to take her somewhere private to talk more. After all, what I'm about to say can't be overheard by others. Liu Ying saw this and quickly dodged Lu Bo's hand, questioning him. "Lu Bo, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be a hooligan? I'll go tell the teacher, believe it or not." "No, you've misunderstood. I have something to tell you. It's not convenient for others to hear, so I wanted to take you to a quiet place. What did I misunderstand? Isn't what you're doing being a hooligan?" Liu Ying's eyes widened, staring at Lu Bo in some surprise. "Where did I misunderstand him? I... Lu Bo was suddenly tongue-tied, unable to speak. His mind was a mess right now. He was already in a hurry. Now he was even more rushed and couldn't speak fluently. "Fine, you can say whatever you want, but there's a prerequisite. Shouldn't you have something more important to say to me?" About this morning's matter, Liu Ying glanced at him and said annoyedly while thinking to herself that Lu Bo was such a straight man. No wonder Shen Mengyao doesn't like him. This morning's matter? Lu Bo frowned and thought for a long time. Finally, he reacted, nodding repeatedly. He said, I know that. This morning I was too impulsive. I offended you without understanding the situation. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. That's more like it." Liu Ying's expression softened quite a bit. I've already hinted this much. If Lu Bo still didn't get it, then I wouldn't need to continue talking to him anymore. Alright? Say what you want to say first. Otherwise, I'm not talking to you anymore. Lu Bo looked left and right for a moment. After checking that no one was eavesdropping, he moved closer to Liu Ying and lowered his voice. Aren't you Shen Mengyao's best friend? So I want to discuss something with you. I feel like Shen Mengyao seems to have changed. Moreover, I think it might be Tang Zi pulling the strings from behind. When Liu Ying heard this, a spark of surprise flashed in her eyes. Really? You think so too? In the evening after school, the students had all left the school and gone home early. After all, there's an exam tomorrow. Tang Zi walked home alone on the road. She was used to walking this road at night. Besides, the road was brightly lit and there were quite a few passers-by. She had nothing to worry about. However, after passing a corner, Tang Zi frowned in surprise. Just as she was passing by, her fleeting glance seemed to have seen someone. Not long after, two people came jogging around the corner, but looking at the road ahead, there was no one in sight. We lost her. These two people were Lu Bo and Liu Ying. The two of them had been following Tang Zi all the way since school let out. They knew there was no chance to approach Tang Zi at school, and they couldn't ask anything, so they had arranged to wait until after school in the evening. They would follow Tang Zi and make her explain the matter between her and Shen Mengyao. As a result, now there was no sign of Tangzi. Liu Ying already wanted to give up. She felt that following her was a mistake. Lu Bo saw Liu Ying was about to leave and immediately stopped her, saying, "Don't go. Didn't we say we'd form an alliance? If you leave, what am I supposed to do? Who said they wanted to form an alliance with you?" Honestly, just as the two were talking, something suddenly flew over their heads and hit a passerby who had just walked by. A man was hit in the head by that thing. It hurt so much that he winced and grimaced. Liu Ying and Lu Bo heard the sound and looked towards the man, and that man, while rubbing his head, happened to see the two of them. He frowned deeply, his eyes glaring with anger, and walked straight towards them. "Which one of you threw it? Throwing things around on the street? What kind of upbringing did your parents give you?" "No, we didn't throw it." Lu Bo almost couldn't stand steadily, tripping over a stone on the ground. He felt it was really baffling now, thinking to himself if this man was crazy. Liu Ying, seeing things were not going well, prepared to slip away. She said to Lu Bo, "I'm heading home first. My mom will be worried in a bit." After saying that, she turned and left, as if afraid of getting into some kind of trouble. She didn't feel that Lu Bo was unlucky. On the contrary, she felt that she was the unlucky one. If I had known, I wouldn't have followed. It would have been better to just go home obediently. "Hey Liu Ying, don't go. Don't leave me here alone." No matter how Lu Bo called, Liu Ying didn't turn back, as if she didn't know him at all. Lu Bo also wanted to run, but just as he took one step, he was pulled back by the man. Liu Ying ran for more than 10 steps before she thought of turning back to check on Lu Bo's situation. As a result, just as she turned her head, she was grabbed by a hand that suddenly reached out from the side and pulled into a small alley nearby. Liu Ying's eyes widened as she looked at the person in front of her. It was Tangzi, whom they had lost track of. Tangzi pulling her here also meant that Tangzi had actually discovered that she and Lu Bo were following her. "Why were you two following me? Is something wrong?" Tangzi slowly spoke up, asking softly. Liu Ying was at a loss for words, stumped by the question, opened her mouth. Her gaze froze. After a moment, she thought of Shen Mengyao. "I just want to ask, what is your relationship with Shen Mengyao? Also, why isn't she hanging out with me anymore? Do you know something? She and I are just friends. She's not hanging out with you. Why are you asking me?" Tangzi actually knew the situation, but she couldn't tell Liu Ying. Liu Ying frowned tightly, showing some dissatisfaction. "Then can you guarantee that you didn't speak ill of me in front of her?" "Never." Tangzi replied decisively without any hesitation. Liu Ying saw Tangzi answer so decisively, and there was no hint of a lie on her face at all. She couldn't help but be stunned. Then, how did you become her friend?" Liu Ying's momentum weakened quite a bit. I was clearly the one speaking louder, but she felt that Tangzi had an imposing presence without being angry. "She's not hanging out with you anymore. It has nothing to do with me. How she and I became friends also has nothing to do with you. But I can tell you clearly, there is no causal relationship between these two things," Tangzi replied softly. Liu Ying didn't know if her words were ultimately true or false, but looking at her state, it didn't seem like she was lying, although she had prepared a bunch of questions to ask, but now she couldn't ask anything. It was as if she already knew what answer I would get. After asking, "Can I believe you? Whether you believe me or not doesn't matter." After saying that, Tangzi turned to leave. She didn't want to waste time here answering these questions from Liu Ying. These answers were just me pitying her because she had followed me for so long. "Wait, one last question." Liu Ying called Tangzi back. Actually, what she wanted to ask Tangzi wasn't just about Shen Mengyao. There was one more thing she particularly wanted to know. Tangzi stopped, didn't turn back, and listened quietly. Liu Ying lowered her head, her hands a bit unnaturally fidgeting with the hem of her shirt. After a moment, she asked very quietly, "You and Guqi?" "He's my brother." Before Liu Ying finished, Tangzi had already answered and left directly, leaving only Liu Ying here alone like a wooden block, stunned. She had thought of many possibilities, but she really didn't expect the two of them to be siblings. For a moment, a joy rose up in her heart that was hard to suppress, like a flower blooming in her heart. Does this mean that all my previous worries were wrong? Tangzi and Guqi are fundamentally impossible. In the evening, Liu Ying got home, took out her phone to look at the message list. Before, her phone always had many unread messages. There were messages from me and also from Shen Mengyao. But now it was particularly quiet. The messages I sent also received no reply. She opened the chat interface with me, clearly knowing I wouldn't reply, and probably wouldn't even see it. But she still sent a sentence, "Good luck with the exam tomorrow." This question actually has a second solution, just in case. I'll teach it to you as well. Shen Mengyao pointed to a question on the test paper and patiently explained, but before she could start, she heard a light breathing sound. When she turned her head to look, she discovered I had collapsed on the table, fast asleep with my eyes closed. Since who knows when, the corners of Shen Mengyao's mouth curved up slightly. Her eyes revealed a faint tenderness. Looking at my sleeping appearance made her recall what she had been through these past few days. She had seen all my effort and progress. Shen Mengyao also sympathized with my hardship. For this exam, I had put in several times more effort than others. "Guqi, go to your room to sleep." She gently patted my shoulder and whispered in my ear, but she couldn't wake me up at all. Shen Mengyao hoped I could get a good rest. After all, one needs to be well rested before an exam. Otherwise, if I'm sleepy the next day, then all these efforts would be in vain, so now she didn't dare to wake me up. After all, with my personality, I would probably continue studying after waking up, so how can I get him to his room to sleep? After thinking for a long time, Shen Mengyao couldn't think of a way. She originally couldn't even move my body, let alone now when I couldn't use any strength. Although a day had passed and it was much better, her body was still very sore, so she could only let me continue sleeping here. Then she took one of my jackets and gently draped it over me. Sleep well. Shen Mengyao sat beside me, also resting her hands on the table, and tilted her head to look at my sleeping face. She didn't know what she was thinking, but it seemed that just by looking like this, she could watch all night. I wonder how long this life can last. The deep night was extremely quiet. Some people had long been fast asleep, while others still had their nightlights on, striving for the desires in their hearts. It was past 4 a.m. There was a faint light outside. I slowly opened my eyes. The first sensation was the numbness in my arm and the ache in my waist. I lowered my head and looked at the jacket on me, and couldn't help but be stunned for a moment, recalling that I seemed to have fallen asleep at some point last night without realizing it. At that time, my head just felt heavy, and I couldn't open my eyes. I collapsed and fell into a deep sleep. Beside me, Shen Mengyao was sleeping quietly. Close your eyes. I can see her long eyelashes. I didn't expect Shen Mengyao to be here with me too. Actually, she could have just gone back to the bedroom to sleep. The jacket on me must be hers, but she isn't covered with anything. It's still very cold to sleep in the living room. Sleeping like this for a night, she might catch a cold. I see Shen Mengyao is almost curled up into a ball, with both hands tucked under her arms, which is enough to show that she must be very cold. Shen Mengyao. I softly called Shen Mengyao's name, wanting to wake her up, at least to let her continue sleeping in the bedroom. But after calling several times in a row, Shen Mengyao showed no signs of waking up. She was still sleeping very soundly. I know I've been neglecting to eat and sleep to study. My body's a little exhausted, but I forgot that Shen Mengyao is the same. Every time she was by my side, when I studied, she would be there tutoring me. I didn't sleep, and she didn't sleep either, so Shen Mengyao's exhaustion is actually no less than mine. Plus, with her pressure and those worries, she's probably even more mentally exhausted than physically. I really want to let Shen Mengyao keep sleeping. After all, there's still time now, but I definitely can't let her sleep in the living room. Since I can't wake her up by calling, I thought, you'll just carry her directly into the bedroom. After all, as long as my movements are gentle enough, I probably won't wake her up. I stood up, looked at Shen Mengyao in front of me, steadied my breath, and let my heart calm down. Then I bent down and gently lifted Shen Mengyao into my arms. Shen Mengyao still had her eyes closed, which was enough to see that she was really tired. A pang of guilt rose in my heart. However, as I walked to the side of the bed, preparing to put Shen Mengyao down, she suddenly turned in my arms and wrapped her arms around my shoulders. In that moment, I felt like I turned to stone in an instant. My limbs went stiff. I looked down, but Shen Mengyao in my arms didn't seem to be awake yet. This seemed to be an unconscious action in her dream. So what should I do now? Now that Shen Mengyao is hugging my shoulders, there's basically no way to put her on the bed. Do I have to wake Shen Mengyao up now? Just then, I heard Shen Mengyao's faint voice coming from my embrace. Mom. Right after that, I felt Shen Mengyao's arms around me tightening, as if she was afraid I would leave her. Her body trembled slightly. I could feel she was a little scared, a little insecure. A lump formed in my throat and in my head. The intention to wake Shen Mengyao up vanished. I had forgotten, although Shen Mengyao looks very strong, very open. In the end, she is also just a young girl in her parents' eyes. Now, what I want most is for Shen Mengyao not to wake up. It would be good if I could let her sleep a little longer. Maybe in her dream, it would let her stay with her mother a little longer. I sat firmly on the bed, without moving, playing the role of Shen Mengyao's bed and bolster pillow, letting her sleep peacefully in my arms. About half an hour later, my body was already very stiff. My arms were very tired, almost unable to bear it anymore, but I still didn't dare to move. Another half hour passed. Shen Mengyao opened her hazy eyes. It seemed there were still small tears in the corners of her eyes. Before she could even react to where she was, she heard my voice. Good morning.